Today happens to be a very special one. Typically, we do this every third Saturdays of the month, but many of us, I believe, know that today is a special day. It's a special day for those of us who have relationships to remember that and to pamper one another. And I believe a lot. I was at a function yesterday. Somebody told me today will be very busy. Let him start yesterday to begin to, to he said there will be hold up everywhere on Saturday. So after our function in the office, he said, please, I'm taking my wife out somewhere this evening. That was what he said. So, and I'm sure that resonates to many people. In the same way, too, we want to see many women take out their husbands to some places. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Welcome to the Aspire for Excellence Foundation, like I said. And tonight we have, I would say, a special topic, which rhymes with the condition, or with the moment. And the title today is Love with Purpose. Love with Purpose. Building healthy relationships, meaningful work, and a life that lasts. And to do the presentation today is Dr. Gift Roma. Dr. Gift Roma. And I'm going to read her bio. But just before I start, let me bring the ground rules, please. As you join, please mute your microphones. As you join, please knock off your video also because of bandwidth restrictions, and so that a lot of people will be able to have it seamlessly, So I will proceed now to read the bio of our speaker for, I would say, for the night. Okay. So just give me a moment to do just that. And after that, our speaker for the night would have the floor, would take the floor and would go ahead. Okay. So this is a brief profile of Dr. Gift Ugwe Roman. Okay. Dr. Dame Gift from Akinima in the West local government area of Rivers State. She obtained a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting from the University of Port Harcourt in 1997. She further obtained her master's in Business Administration, MBA, and a Master of Science degree, both in management from the then Rivers State University of Science and Technology, now Rivers State University, and University of Port Harcourt in 2009 and in 2015, respectively. Her insatiable quest for knowledge and self-development propelled her back to the university, where she obtained a Doctor of Philosophy in Management from the Leeds Beckett University, United Kingdom in 2016. She is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN. She is the pioneer ICANN Obiakpo and District Society of Women Accountants Representative. She is also a member of Nigerian Institute of Management. Dame Dr. Gift Roma loves God, hence passionately serves God on different platforms. She is a Knight of St. Mary's and a life member of the Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship International. Presently, she is a minister in the Praiseland Mega Parish of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. She is a member of the Petroleum Industry Christian Fellowship, where she presently serves as the national president. Actually, she's my national president also. She's a certified marriage counselor, a preacher, and a public speaker also. Dame Dr. Gift Roma has passion for youths. This necessitated the establishment of an NGO for the youths in 2015. She is the founder and president, chairman, board of trustees of Okari God's Will Foundation. She is an entrepreneur, a major distributor of some companies. As a career woman, she worked as the head of department, accounts reconciliation, finance division, O&O, Energy Resources Nigeria Limited. As an industry scholar, she has authored several articles endowed with intrapersonal and interpersonal skills and capabilities. She has held several leadership positions in all spheres of life. Her hobbies include sports, travels, and adventures. Dame Dr. Gift Roma was married for 31 years to evangelist Mark Roma. She's blessed with 6 wonderful children, 3 boys, 3 girls, 3 grandchildren, 3 foster children, and several spiritual children. And let me add that number 3 seems to resonate with her. You're welcome tonight, Dr. Gift Roma, and thank you for being on the call tonight. You have the floor, madam. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I want to say very good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are joining from, to our very distinguished participants in this seminar series today. Thank you for joining, and it's a pleasure to have me speak to us this evening. Particularly, I want to thank the organizers of this program, the Aspire for Excellence Foundation. Thank you very much to you all, and especially to the coordinator, Engineer Michael Iwegu. I want to say thank you for this wonderful privilege to share with us all. I don't take it for granted. Thank you once again. And at this point in time, I want to say happy Valentine's Day to every one of us, and I want to say I love you all. Honestly, I love you all. Now, having said happy Valentine's Day and having said I love you all, this love, do you think it's from my heart? Do you think I mean it? Do you think it's with a purpose, or I just said it because, the bandwagons, a lot of people have said it today. Do you think I said it for a particular reason, or I just said it, because people have said it? Today is Valentine's Day. A lot of people have said, I love you. Let me also say I love you. Well, today's topic will address some of these issues, and that's why we're going to look at the theme that says love with purpose, building healthy relationships, meaningful work, and a life that lasts. At the end of this topic this evening, we should be able to take home the following. Today, a lot of people are celebrating Valentine. Do they really know how it got started? Do they know the root of Valentine? So we're going to look at the historical roots and evolution of Valentine's Day. And then we'll move on to look at the principles of mature / ideal love. In other words, with definition of love. And then we'll look at the principles of purposeful love. In other words, love with purpose. We don't just love for the fun of it. We must love with purpose. And then pillars of healthy self-love. Healthy self-love. So this is talking about you, and it's talking about me. Pillars of healthy self-love. Principles of healthy relationships, now talking about other people, family members, your husband, your wife, your children, your siblings, family members, friends, mentees, colleagues. And then principles of legacy building love. That is lasting nature of love, the love that will last. So we go on to look at the origin and evolution of Valentine. Of course, a martyr called Saint Valentine, who believed in love over oppression, was killed. And his martyrdom became symbolic. It became symbolic to the extent that people started remembering him for that and celebrating, having celebrations surrounding his martyrdom. That's why on the 3rd century, Saint Valentine symbolized sacrificial love. People loved with sacrifice, making sacrifices. And of course, down to the Middle Ages, Valentine's Day was then associated with romantic ideals and poetic expressions. For example, like what we can see here, the greatest thing you will ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. This is a poetic expression. So in the Middle Ages, they were associated with things like this, romantic ideals and poetic expressions. Then coming to the 18th century, of course, the order of day was exchange of love letters, tokens of affection, like flowers. You can see the flower there. People exchange flowers and all that, all to portray love, all to show love. They will write love letters to their loved ones and the likes. Then in the 19th century, it graduated to Valentine cards being introduced. Cards were introduced whereby people share cards, they give cards to one another. And of course, the modern day time where we find ourselves, you find a lot of Valentine gifts being passed to people. Like today, a lot of people have exchanged so many Valentine gifts, digital messages, and all forms of love. But I want to say this, that do all this, it's a question I want to ask, do all this done on a day like this, do they depict true love with purpose? I had a young girls trooping in, gisting, chatting away, and I was like, do they really understand what love is? So all this exchange of gifts, digital messages, all forms of love expressions that mark a day like this, that characterize a day like this, do they depict true love with purpose? Food for thought. Maybe as we go on in the seminar, you'll be able to answer for yourself if they actually depict true love with purpose. So what is love? What is love? And of course, when we know what is love, we'll now dwell on the principles of mature or ideal love. Love is beyond emotions. It's beyond emotions, it's beyond feelings. But it's a distinctive feature, characteristic that involves decisiveness. Decisiveness is not something that you'll be coerced to do. It's not something that you'll be forced to, oh, you must love me. Whether you like it or not, you must love me. No, you have to take that decision. Oh, I've decided in my heart to love my husband. I've decided in my heart to love this, my friend. I've decided in my heart to love my mentee. So it involves decisiveness. It involves practicality. Love is beyond verbal expressions. Oh, I love you. Yes, the verbal expressions are very good. Like I told you when we started at the beginning, I said, I love you, But it's beyond verbal expressions. Practicality. You must practice love. Love must be practiced. If you love me, show me you love me. As a husband, if you love your wife, show your wife you love her. As a wife, if you love your husband, show your husband you love him. And in other aspects of life too, if you have a fiancé, your fiancé tells, look, I love you, that love must be practicalized. Actions, they say, speaks louder than words. So it's not enough to say, I love you, I love you. Practicality is very important. Commitment, we must be committed. I tell you, most of the young boys and young girls today that we saw in places, give them 2, 3, 4 weeks. You may not see the commitment that you saw today. In fact, some of them, the relationship may cease to exist. So all the fun and everything will just end today. Love is beyond that. It involves decisiveness, practicality, commitment, care. And of course, love is found in friendship. Proverbs 17:17a says, a friend loves at all times. So with that, you see that you need friendship to get to love. And of course, you need friendship to sustain that love. Unfortunately, in most homes today, you find husband and wives, before they got married, they are friends. They are friends, and they are supposed to know evil, does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in truth, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. I want to stress on does not envy. I've seen in marital relationship, where sometimes maybe the woman is maybe doing so well any more than the husband. You find out that envy sometimes creeps in. And if that happens, it will breed competition and it's not good for the marriage. So these attributes are the attributes of love that must be seen in every relationship that we find ourselves. Love is sacrificial. It's about giving to the other person. You must be ready to make sacrifice. If you are not ready to make sacrifice, then you are not ready to love. John 15:13 says, greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends. Well, Jesus died for us. We don't expect any husband to die for the wife as in physical death, or the wife to die for the husband, or even in relationships. But you must be ready to pay the price, to make sacrifices. It's about being symbiotic, not parasitic. Some people in relationship want to be on the receiving side alone. They are not ready to give. No, love is sacrificial. You must be ready to give. Love is decision, as I've said earlier, choosing to love. is decision. You must choose to love. You must not be coerced to love. You must choose to love. And of course, it involves discipline as well. And when you are disciplined, you'll find out that you practice all that love entails. Like we read in 1 Corinthians 13, all the attributes of love, you'll be disciplined to practice them. Of course, with love, you have a direction that will guide your love towards growth. Now, note that feelings may ignite love, but decision and discipline are the attributes that will sustain love. Now, popular culture has to do with what is popularly done. You know, what people do. Like today now, it's Valentine Day, people go out, they take a drink, sit together and have fun. Most of these things are based on chemistry. They're just focused on chemistry, appearance, and they are short term. Like I said earlier, that some of the boys that took their friends out today, give them weeks, you may not see that relationship again because it was focused on chemistry, appearance, hence it's short-lived. But principled love exhibits respect, sacrifice, shared values, and of course, it's lasting. So your relationship is dependent on the kind of love you pursue. So you have to know and determine the kind of love you pursue. What you call love determines how you live. Your definition of love shapes your lifestyle. And of course, it shapes the choices you make in life and the kind of relationship you get into. Love should not be based on passion alone. If you define love as passion alone, I tell you, you'll be chasing excitement and instability can come in. You'll be prone to instability. But if you define love as responsibility, if I love you, I know I have a responsibility over you to continue loving you. So if you define love as responsibility and purpose, you will build relationships that last and impact others. So the way you name your love, therefore, become the way you live love. Your love must be based on you must be responsible. You must have purpose for loving somebody. You don't just love because of passion alone. Now, these attributes, are they found in your relationship with your friend, with your spouse, your fiancé, your colleague that profess to love you? And of course, vice versa, the people you love, do you find these attributes in you? Are you responsible? Do you love with responsibility and purpose? Are the attributes we found in 1 Corinthians 13, 4-7, are they in your relationship? Now, remember that when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. So, what is love with purpose? What is love with purpose? First of all, what is purpose? Of course, we all know the purpose is a sense of direction that gives meaning to one's life. As you are as a being, your life has a purpose. If you don't know the purpose of your being in existence, your life may be directionless. You may not have a direction. Same thing is applicable to love. So, purpose is not just what you do, but why you do it. You love your friend, you love your spouse, you love your colleague, you love your fiancé. Why do you love them? So, the purpose of your love gives a sense of direction and meaning to your relationship. So I ask, why should you love? Of course, for transformative purposes, you must choose to love even when it's hard to love. You choose to love, you show commitment and intentionality to achieve that. You must be intentional about it. You must be decisive about it. You must take responsibility. Yes, I've taken the responsibility to love you and I will continue to love you. Of course, you love for value and growth-driven purposes, to build relationships that reflect your values and your vision, to build trust and nurture others. Of course, to serve others through empathy, to support, and of course, make sacrifices. And by the time you do all this, you will discover that your love will be future-oriented. It will be future-focused. It will not be short-lived. It will not be just for the now. It will also be for the future, creating impact that lasts beyond the moment. Still on principles of purposeful love, loving with purpose, you must realize that purpose must be stronger than passion. Of course, we know what passion is, having love over emotions for somebody, exceeding emotions for somebody. But you know that passion will excite, it will burn like fire, but it's temporary. It's just like firewood. Those of us that go to the village, if you get firewood and you make your fire, at that immediate time, you will see the firewood burning so well with the flame coming up, but give it some time, it will start going down until it will quench. That is how passion alone does. Passion alone, it will excite, to be excited at that initial time, that momentary time. But with time, it will just fade, it will fizzle away because it's temporary. It will fade quickly. But you see, when you love with purpose, when purpose comes in addition to passion, it will be sustained. Your love will be sustained. So purpose is what sustains and gives direction. Passion alone will not sustain and give direction, but purpose, in addition to passion, will sustain and give direction. So purpose is like a compass that keeps you moving in the right direction, even when emotions fluctuate. Relationships built only on passion often collapse when challenges arise. But relationships that are anchored on shared purpose, they endure the storms and they grow together. The storms will come. If anybody tells you that once you are in a relationship, maybe you are married, maybe for the married ones now, that you will not have challenges, that's not true. The challenges will come. The storms will arise. But what will keep you going is when that relationship is anchored on purpose, on shared purpose, when that relationship is disciplined, when that relationship is practical, is practical, decisive. These are the things that will keep you going despite the storms. Aligning love, career, and calling. Now, the fact that you love somebody doesn't mean that you don't have a career. It doesn't mean you don't have a calling. And again, the person you are loving, the fact that you love the person or the person loves doesn't mean the person does not have a career or calling. We've seen situations where somebody gets married. Maybe a man gets married to a woman, and the lady is a career woman. And then after marriage, you hear the husband telling the wife, you know what, you are my wife. I don't want you to work. I just want you to sit in the house as a full-time housewife. If that is done, the career of that woman will be shattered. If it's in the aspect of calling, the calling will be shattered. So there is need to align love, career, and calling. So true fulfillment comes when your love life, your professional life, and personal calling are not in conflict, but in sync. They must be in sync. They must be in tandem, in consonance. Love should not derail your career or calling, but empower them. So as a husband, as a wife, the love you have for your wife should not derail her career and calling, and vice versa. As a wife, the love you have for your husband should not derail his career, should not derail his calling. In the same vein, people that want to get married, yes, you want to get married, you've proposed to each other, you are dating. Both of you will have your careers. Both of you may have your callings. Your love should not derail any of this. Rather, all this must be in sync. You must align your love, your career, and your calling. So love should not derail your career or calling, but empower them. When partners align their values and goals, they create synergy. Love fuels ambition, and ambition strengthens love. And this alignment definitely will prevent resentment. Still on principles of purposeful love, we're going to look at supporting each other's growth, not suffocating it. This also is very important. Supporting each other's growth. Healthy love encourages individuality and growth rather than control. Everybody has his own peculiarities. Everybody has. The husband has his peculiarities. The wife has her peculiarities. Even singles about to get married, they have their individual peculiarities. Love should encourage these peculiarities, these individualities, and of course, growth. Because when you encourage each other's peculiarity, you encourage the person to grow, rather than control. So you don't need to exercise such control to the extent that you don't encourage the other person's peculiarity or individuality. So you must learn to celebrate your partner's dreams. Celebrate your partner's dream. If your partner is doing so well, it's a plus to you. Husband and wives are one, like the Bible tells us. The man and the woman, they are one. So if your wife is doing well, invariably it is you, the husband, that is doing well, and vice versa. If the husband is doing well, it is you, the wife, that is also doing well. So we must learn to celebrate each other's dreams. We must not suffocate our dreams. Suffocating love tries to limit and control. And this, of course, leads to frustration and stagnation. When you don't celebrate your partner's dreams, your partner's aspirations, your partner's things that will make your partner grow, you'll be suffocating that love. And by the time you suffocate that love, it will lead to stagnation and frustration, which none of us will desire in our relationship. So love should be a platform for flourishing, not a cage. not a cage. I've seen some women complain that they are caged. They cannot express themselves. They have giftings in them, but they are not given that platform, that room to express themselves. That is not good for any healthy relationship. We must support each other. The husband must support the wife's growth. The wife must support the husband's growth. And even singles that are about to get married, let's support each other's growth. Mentors and mentees, let's support each other's growth. When both partners grow, the relationship grows as well. Now, let's look at pillars of healthy self-love. This is now talking about yourself. Loving yourself without becoming selfish. This is very important. You must value yourself without disregarding others. Yes, the Bible says we should esteem others higher than yourself. In esteeming others higher than yourself, it does not mean that you must not place value on yourself. It must not mean you should disregard yourself. It simply means, yes, while not disregarding others, you must value yourself. Have respect for yourself. Care for yourself. Know your worth. Know your worth. Some people don't know their worth. When you don't know your worth, how will another person now know your worth? When you don't know your worth, how will another person now know your worth? So you must know your worth while still being generous and empathetic. And of course, what this means is that you tell yourself that I also matter. I matter too. Not just that only I matter. When you say only I matter, that's where it's a problem. That's the one that is bad. When you say you are the only one that matters, that's where you have a problem. But you also matter. Other people matter. You also matter. It's just like the proverbial statement we talk about the lizard. When the lizard jumps down, it will nod the head like this. That is so even when other people don't applaud the lizard applauds himself. So you must know your worth, value yourself without disregarding others. Identity before intimacy. This is also very important. Invariably, it is pillar of self-definition. You must know who you are before joining yourself with someone else. Call it marriage, whatever it is, you must know who you are. Who are you? If you're already married, you still need to know your identity. Of course, identity is your values, your belief system, your self-conceptions. Without identity, intimacy can become dependency. What do I mean by that? If you don't know who you are and you can't join yourself to somebody, maybe in marriage, you will simply be depending on that person because you don't even know the values you have. You don't know your belief system. You don't know the values you have. And when you don't know the values you have, you will have no choice to depend solely 100% on the other person. So identity before intimacy is very important. Pillar of self-definition. You must know who you are. Know your values. Because let me take an example now. As a single, a brother wants to marry you as a sister, and the brother comes to you and asks you as a sister, what are your values? And you say you don't know. How will you look? How will the brother even look at you? You don't know your values. So if you don't know your values, how do you expect the brother to even now know your values? And then, of course, vice versa. So we must know who we are before joining ourselves with other people. Healing, pillar of restoration. This now is for the singles. You must have been disappointed. You must have had failed relationship, traumas, just name it. Before you get into another relationship, be sure that you have healed from these past wounds. You have healed from the disappointments you had before. Otherwise, chances are that you will transfer aggression to the new relationship, to the person you are coming to meet. You will transfer aggression, and it's not good because unhealed pain will often resurface in how we treat other people. So be sure that you have healed from past failures, from past disappointments, and past traumas. This may not be applicable in marriage because once you are married, you are married. You cannot want to leave that marital relationship to another one. So you remain there. Even past disappointments before you were married, you ought to forget and then concentrate on your marriage. So pillar of restoration is very important. Heal from past wounds, traumas, and disappointments. And of course, healing is not perfection, but growth. Still on self-love, healthy self-love. Self-worth is very important. That's pillar of dignity. You must recognize your self-worth, regardless of achievements or approvals. There are a lot of people that suffer from low self-esteem. Some call it inferiority complex. You don't need to have inferiority complex because the Bible says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So You must recognize your self-worth. Like the lizard I used to give an example. Recognize your self-worth. Irrespective of the achievements you made, whether you've made achievements or not, recognize your self-worth. Whether you have men's approval or not, people's approval or not, just recognize your self-worth. With strong self-worth, you won't settle for toxic love or undervalue yourself. And of course, when you know your worth, you would know who to get joined to marry to. You won't just settle for any and any person. When I say any and any person, that's not to say people coming to you be worthless. But what I mean is this: you will not go for who you don't love. You will go for who you love and who you want to be settled with. You will not go for any toxic love. The love that you are seeing that, oh, there are red flags, yet you want to go. No. Once you know your worth, you will go for what you want. It will not be a case of when the desirable is not available, the available becomes desirable. No. So when you know your worth, you attract relationships that honor it. Emotional maturity is very important as well, pillar of stability. You must have the ability to manage emotions responsibly. Remember the adjective there, responsibly. Yes, you can manage emotions in many ways, but we are talking about managing emotions responsibly. And of course, respond thoughtfully, not reactively. When you have issues, like I said earlier, there's no relationship without challenges. When the challenges come, how do you handle your emotions? How do you manage your emotions? Do you shout all over the place and allow third parties to come in? You must be able to manage your emotions responsibly. That's what we refer to as emotional maturity. It allows for steady, safe, sustainable, and not volatile relationship. So whether you are married, or you are yet to be married, you are a single, and somebody comes to you, are engaged, please manage your emotions responsibly. Principles of healthy relationship. Love in relationship. Now we are done with yourself. We are now looking at relationship with others. Choosing wisely versus falling blindly. This is very important. Love should be intentional, not accidental. It's not by mistake. You should not love by mistake. Not incidental. Don't love as a result of consequence, as a result of this that happened. I want to love. Don't love out of pity. I have seen girls marry out of pity. There was one that was from a well-to-do family, and then she saw a guy from a poor background, and she said she was sympathetic with the guy, and out of pity, she married the guy. That marriage never lasted. So love should be intentional, decisively, not accidental, not incidental. Should not be out of pity, never out of sentiment, please. Choose wisely versus falling blindly. Don't fall blindly. When you fall blindly, I tell you, you'll be driven by emotions alone. And when you are driven by emotions alone, you will ignore red flags. You will ignore red flags. You will not take cognizance of the red flags you are seeing. So you must prayerfully evaluate the character of the person you want to get into relationship with, the values of the person, and of course, long-term compatibility. Communication is very important. Honest, open dialogue. That's the life wire. It's the lifeblood of every relationship. And when we talk of communication, it does not end in just talking. It involves talking, it involves listening, and it involves understanding and responding. And of course, in communication, when one person is talking, the other person must be listening. The two persons cannot be talking at the same time, because if the two persons are talking at the same time, you will not hear yourselves. So when one person is talking, the other must listen. And one thing I want to please tell us is that we must try as much as possible to avoid assumptions in communication. I repeat myself, try as much as possible to avoid assumptions in communication. That's where understanding comes in. If your partner, your husband, your wife, your friend has said something you don't understand, please ask for clarity. Ask for clarity. Don't assume, because assumption has caused a lot of problems, a lot of wreck in relationships. So when you don't understand something, please, nothing should stop you from asking for clarity. Please, what did you mean by this? I didn't understand very well. Please, can you throw more light? Can you clarify? So communication involves talking, listening, understanding, and of course, responding, because it's a two-way traffic. Miscommunication breeds conflict. Boundaries and values. still talking about love in relationships. Boundaries protect individuality while shared values create unity. Let's learn to respect each other's boundaries. Boundaries prevent unhealthy control. And of course, values ensure both partners are moving in the same direction. Respecting limits and aligning values keep relationships balanced and purposeful. You must respect the limit of your partner. You should know the limit, the boundary of your partner. This is the extent to which my partner can go. This is the extent to which my wife can go. This is the extent to which my husband can go. This is the extent to which my fiancé can go. So you don't control the person. You don't push the person beyond the person's limits. We must respect each other's limits and align our values to keep our relationships balanced and purposeful. Then love as responsibility, not just chemistry. This, I think I've mentioned responsibility before, but I'll still throw more light on it. Love is beyond attraction. It's commitment, it's care, accountability. Chemistry will just merely ignite passion. The responsibility sustains the relationship through challenges. If I know I have a responsibility to love you, no matter the challenges that come our way, I will still love you because I know I have that responsibility to love you. I have decidedly told myself that I will love you and I will keep loving you. So that responsibility is what will sustain the relationship through challenges. True love shows up daily, even when feelings fluctuate. Loving in a way that outlives you. Of course, this is talking about legacy now. You must love in a way that even when you are no more, people will remember you for the values, for the things you've put on ground. Now, when I say things you've put on ground, it's not necessarily possessions. It's not necessarily the houses you have built. It's not necessarily the cars, so many cars you have. No. Love should transcend into future generations based on the values you've instilled in the lives of people, based on the impact you've made on the lives of people, based on the transformation you've made in the lives of people. Like I dare to say, like this Aspect for Excellence Foundation, do you know that this monthly seminar series that they do, coming up with different topics, coming up with different themes, different speakers, is transformation. They are impacting people positively with knowledge. And of course, we know that knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. So this is a way that they are creating legacy for themselves. So love should not end with your lifetime. It should transcend into future generations. This means that you will live with values that people remember and carry forward. The values that people have gotten from the Aspect for Excellence Foundation, these values will be long lasting. They will continue from generation to generation because they are molding lives. They are instilling values into people's life. So legacy is not about possessions, but it's about the love and principles that you leave behind. So I want to ask, in that relationship, as a husband, as a wife, what legacy are you leaving in that your family? In that relationship, as a husband, what legacy are you leaving? Are you leaving? What will your wife remember you for when you are no more? What will your husband as a wife remember you for? What will the children remember you for as parents? What will your children remember you for? As mentors that mentor other people, what will your mentees remember you for? For the singles, of course, you have friends. What will your friends remember you for? This is very, very important as well. Now, we look at impact on children. The way you love shapes the emotional and moral foundation of your children. Children learn not just from lectures that you give to them, but how they see it practiced daily. So, we must show love to our children. We must show what love is in its true form. Love that is intentional, love that is decisive, love that is with responsibility. As the husband shows this to the wife and vice versa, the wife also shows this to the husband, the children will see and they learn from it. Actions, they say, speaks louder than words. So we must grow from instruction to children to interaction with the children. You know, when children are small and they are growing up, we give instructions. Do this, Mary, do this. Peter, do that. You do this, you do that. As they keep growing, my dear, you need to interact with them. You need to interact with them. You need to discuss with them. Even God himself say, come, let us reason together. So as these children keep growing, you grow from instruction to these children, to interaction with the children. You interact with them. Let them see and experience that atmosphere of love. So loving well creates secure, confident, and compassionate future adults. When we love well, these are children that are growing up. They will grow up to be children that will also love. They will be confident of themselves. And of course, they will become compassionate future adults. Impact on mentees. We should know that in creating impact, again, I will make reference to Aspire for Excellence Foundation. This seminar series that they are having is not just for their family members. Today now, I'm sure we'll have a lot of people on this call listening to this talk. And all the other teams, all the other series they've had in the past, so many people have listened. So you find out that it has gone beyond their family. It's gone beyond their husbands. It's gone beyond their wives. It's gone beyond their children to other people, to mentees. So beyond your family, your love should influence those that you mentor and guide. Mentorship rooted in love builds resilience, confidence, and vision in others. Love expressed through guidance multiplies your influence far beyond your immediate circle. So, in our transformational activities, in all that we do to instill value on people, we should look beyond our family. We should look beyond our immediate circle. We should look at the church, the singles in the church. How can we mentor them? How can we guide them? How can we transform their lives? There are a lot of people today that are living purposeless life. They're just living, even in love. They are just saying, I love you, I love you. They don't even understand the meaning of love. So we should try to impact people beyond our immediate circle. Impact on society. Love has public consequences, of course. Communities thrive when love is expressed through service, justice, and compassion. A society built on love is stronger, more united, and more humane. 1 Corinthians 16 verse 14 says, let all that you do be done in love. Whatever you do, let it be done in love. As a husband, whatever you do in your house, in your family, to your wife, to your children, let it be done in love. And when it's done in love, let it not just be done in love verbally. You know, I love you, my wife. You know, I love you, my children. Please, let it transcend the verbal proclamation of love to practical show of love. Practical show of love. Remember in our earlier slide, we talked about practicality. Very important. Practicality is very important. So, as a husband, let all that you do in your family be done in love. Even when your wife has done something wrong and you want to rebuke her in love. Same way, as a wife, whatever you are doing in your family, to your husband, to your children, please, as a wife, do it in love. Even when your husband has not done what he ought to do and you want to correct him, please correct him in love. And it's not enough to tell your husband that you love him, you must show it in action. If you love him, show it in action. That's the practicality we are talking about. And take responsibility. Each person should take responsibility of loving the other person. When you take responsibility as a man to love your wife, you will actually love your wife. If you take responsibility as a wife to love your husband, you will actually love your husband. If you take responsibility as children to love your parents, you will love your parents. If you take responsibility as parents to love your children, you will love your children. As people, singles, that are probably dating, if you take responsibility to love yourself throughout your courtship period, you will love yourself. So we should all take responsibility so that all that we do must be done in love. Mentors, to your mentees, take responsibility so that everything we all do will be done in love. In conclusion, I want to say that love is not short-lived emotion at all. It's not short-lived emotion. Love is identity. You must know your values and the values of the person you are loving as well. Love is responsibility. Love is purpose. Love is legacy. When practiced with discipline and direction, Remember, when practiced with discipline, because discipline and direction will help you to sustain this love. So when practiced with discipline and direction, love becomes the foundation of a meaningful life. It becomes the foundation of a healthy relationship. It becomes the foundation of purposeful work and a lasting impact on the world. I pray that the Lord will help us to practice love with discipline and direction so that our love will become the foundation of meaningful life, healthy relationships, purposeful work, and a lasting impact on the world. And to close, I want to ask this question. Am I in a healthy relationship? As many of you that are in one relationship or the other, husband and wives, are you in a healthy relationship? Singles that are in one relationship or the other, are you sure you are in a healthy relationship? If you are, glory be to God, there's always room for change, for improvement, to do better. But if you are not, I pray that the Lord will give you grace to do all that you need to do so as to remain in a healthy relationship. Thank you for listening. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Madam. Please, can we appreciate our speaker for the night? Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Madam. Truly much appreciated. Thank you so much for the talk today on love with a purpose. Please, if you have any questions, please, you can drop them in the chat box, or if you prefer to use the microphone, just raise your hands up, and we are going to call you. But just for those who may have come in while she was speaking, she talked about, first of all, the historical roots or evolution of Valentine's Day. And thereafter, she proceeded to talk about the principles of mature love, or what you call the ideal love. She talked about purpose, and she talked about passion, and let the purpose guide or direct the passion in love. She further talked about the principles of purposeful love. Okay, that's loving with purpose. And thereafter, she talked about the pillars of a healthy self-love. Okay, like someone said, you can't love your neighbor if you don't know how to love yourself, first of all. Like I said, love your neighbor as yourself. And someone said, if you don't love yourself, then you won't be able to have a reference or a baseline to be able to love your neighbor. So she talked about the pillars of a healthy self-love, okay? Having a healthy love for yourself. And I think here she talks about your self-worth, okay? That if you don't have a positive or a good self-worth, and then you are most likely to fall into probably a bad relationships. And that's why sometimes they say wounded people wound others, even in relationships. Because if the person is wounded, all he knows or all she knows is the wounds. And actually in life, you can't give what you don't have. If you don't have it, you can't give it. So she also spoke about principles of healthy relationships. Now, this is talking about others. She talked about extending that love to family members. She talked about extending it to friends, to mentees, and also to colleagues. The icing on the cake was talking about principles of legacy building love, okay? Talking about the lasting nature of love. That's what she also spoke about sometime towards the end. And here she talked about impact, loving in a way that outlives you, you know. Someone said, I think it was William James, he's a great philosopher in the US. He said the purpose of life is to so live your life that the use of your life will outlive your life. I know it was quite fast, and I can repeat it again. I think it was William James, a philosopher in the US, who said the purpose of life is to so use your life, okay, that the impact of your life will outlive your life. It means that when you are dead and gone, people will be able to say, hey, this person passed my way, and as a result of this person passing my way, my life has changed. In terms of legacy building love, she talked about impact for children also. Okay. And she said the way you love, it shapes the children. In fact, in her words, is the moral foundation for the family. And you see that every family who brings up great children, it's traced to the love of the mother and the love of the father, or the love between their parents, And like I said earlier on, wounded people wound others because all they know, it's what they learned. And many times it starts from home. As we are aware, the smallest unit of the society is the family. She ended the principles of legacy building love by talking about impact on mentees. And here she said, beyond family, your love should influence and mentor others. Okay. It's not a question of gimme, 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 gimme. It's not a question of I, me, and myself. It's a question of having a bigger, broader vision for other people. And that's where she talked about impact on mentees. As she said, love expressed through guidance multiplies your influence beyond your immediate circle. And finally, she ended by talking about impact on society. She said love has public consequences, and that most communities thrive when love is expressed through service, justice, and companion. Many people think that the Nigerian society, in a sense, is it's not like some people say, life no balance. So it means that they believe there is no justice. But one of the ways we can make life a bit better is to share that love through service, through justice and compassion. A society built on love is stronger. If there's anything I pick from what she has said, she said love is not just emotion. So yes, today is Valentine's Day, February 14th. Emotions are high. Sometimes when emotions are high, reason is low. But I think what she's saying is this, we should think beyond emotions in terms of love, but let that love have an impact on everyone. And finally, she ended with 1 Corinthians 16, verse 14. Let all that you do be done in love. I think I've been able to summarize a little bit for those who came probably midway or somewhere, at the end of it. And now we are ready to take questions. Okay. And I hope, Madam, you've been able to catch your breath also. Thank you very much.
Yes, I have. Thank you.
All right. So we proceed by calling those who we have some hands up already, but let's start with the first question in the chat box. Nnamdi, nice to see you. Okay. He said, how do you reconcile when a partner feels he or she is showing love, but the other partner doesn't see it as love? Probably talking about love languages. I'm not an expert here. I think I also have Mrs. Buhari here too, who is also an expert in these things. So so go ahead, Madam, please.
Okay, thank you very much to the person that asked the question. How do you reconcile when you are showing love and the other person doesn't seem to agree with you or believe that you are showing love? First of all, I will start by saying that the purpose for showing that love to the person is for the person to enjoy being loved. The person has to enjoy being loved. So if the person has to enjoy being loved, it means that the focus, the center is the person. And so if the person is not getting that love, then the onus is on you to sit the person down and find out, okay, why are you not feeling loved? Of course, the person will tell you. And that brings me to the 5 love languages. We have that of physical touch. We have the gifts. We have acts of service. We have the communication, the verbal one. Then we have quality time. There are 5 acts of service. Now, I don't know if you understand the love language of your wife. By the time you find her, ask her, you may be surprised. She will tell you, probably you've been buying gifts for her, but she's not the gift type. She doesn't want gifts. She needs you as a husband. She needs your time. She needs you to spend time with her, gist with her. You know, women like gist. They like to talk. They like to discuss. So that's what she wants from you. That may be her own love language. Meanwhile, you've been buying gift items for her. Or it may be that she's the type that loves you to assist her in a house chores, which unfortunately most African men are not good at. But if you travel out, you see everybody, the whites, they join their wives in the kitchen, they do a lot of things. So if your wife is the type that loves acts of service and you are busy doing another thing, she may not be feeling that love. She may not be feeling loved. So I would suggest that you sit with her, talk with her, let her tell you, how does she want to experience this love? You will hear what she will tell you, and then you take it up from there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you so much. Let's also, okay, we have a hand. I think 1 or 2 hands are up also. So let's see if we can take that. Okay, Williams, we have just 1 hand up. Williams, please. Williams, I think this is Obianwa. Your hand is up, please. Can you ask your question, please? William, your hand is up. You want to, can you unmute your mic? William, can you hear us at all because your hand is up? Okay.
Is he muted?
It's a bit. Let me check again to see if William. Yes, but we can't hear Williams. We can't hear Williams.
If you can type it on the chat box.
Okay, Williams, can you type your hand in the chat box, please? Your hand is up, William. If you can't, if you have an issue, please type it in the chat box, okay? So we have a second hand up. John, your hand is up. So unmute your mic and let's have your question, please.
Okay. Good evening. So this is Chinoso, actually, not John. Yeah, I'm joining.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm actually particularly interested in the topic, and I mean, I really enjoyed the class so far. So I just have a little question. Yeah. So, how do you deal with a situation where it's not like you love the person, maybe you're not even interested in the marriage or relationship, but just love the person, you like the person's company. You understand? But each time you text her, she doesn't respond to your messages. I mean, I've actually experienced that for like 2 to 3 persons now. So I wanted to know if it's a normal for girls or something. Or is it that there's something I'm not doing right? Or is it that I should call them instead of texting or something? So how do I do with that kind of situation?
Thank you very much for that question. I will start by saying that in the first place, you don't force yourself on anybody. By listening to you, I can perceive that you are not married. You know, you are a single. So if I'm right in my assumption, then I would say in the first place, you can't force yourself on anybody. But first thing first, if you've taken some steps and the person is not responding, it's good to go beyond the step you've already taken. Probably you're just sending text messages. You know, you go a step further. Meet the person one-on-one. Oh, I have been sending text messages to you, but I realize you never responded to any of them. Is there any issue? Is there any problem? And then you will hear what the person will say. There may be some girls with my interaction, based on my interaction with them, they will just conclude that you are not serious. If he's serious, you should be able to come to talk to me. He can't just sit down in his house and then be sending me text messages. You know, people have their peculiarities. People reason in different ways. They have their different mentalities towards issues. There are people that you just send text messages to them. They may feel you are not serious. They may feel you are not serious. So you take a step further to meet the person one-on-one, physically, you know, and then talk with the person. If you do that, you talk with the person and the person is not responding, and probably, maybe let me assume now that maybe you want to marry the person, you know, you can go to God in prayers. If actually that person is for you, God will touch the person will respond. Otherwise, if you do that continuously for a long time, there's no response, you leave the person. Because like I said earlier, you cannot force yourself on anybody. You can take the horse to the water, you cannot force the horse to drink water. Thank you.
All right, thank you, madam.
Thank
You
you
can
so
take
much.
the
Thank you
horse.
so much.
Does that answer your question, Chinonso?
Yeah, she really did. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate.
All right, you can take the horse to the river. You cannot force the horse to drink the water. All right, we have another question. I don't know, William, if your mic is okay now, but we have another one in the chat box. It says, can a distant relationship be healthy and encouraged? You know, these are the days of Facebook, Instagram, AI, social media. So the question is this, can a distant relationship be healthy and encouraged? So back to you, madam.
Thank you very much for that question. I know that there are times when people will be in different places. You know, first, let me answer it in two perspectives now. Let me say, take, for example, the married ones and the singles. Let me start with the married ones. If you're already married, at least before you got married, you've known yourself, you've known each other's values, each other's perception in life and things like that. And probably after marriage, due to work exigencies, one person has to go far to work. There's nothing, absolutely nothing you can do about it. You will just be relating, you know, until when you come together again. But if it has to do with singles and you are in two different places, you've never met, it is not encouraged. Personally, I will not encourage that because you need to know yourselves. You need to know yourselves. Something somebody is telling you over the phone and what you are seeing physically can never be the same. It can never be the same. When the two of you are in two places far apart, you don't see yourselves. Well, you may say you see via virtually. Virtual seeing and physical seeing can never be the same. The person can be telling you something over the phone different from what the person is physically. So I don't think it will make for a healthy relationship. That physical presence matters a lot. It really matters a lot. You know, so that you can understand the behavior of the person, you understand the values of the person, you know, and like I said earlier, what somebody is telling you on phone and what you are seeing real life practically, firsthand, they cannot be the same. So it's necessary for that coming together. Even if you are apart initially, but before marriage, it's good to come together at least to know yourselves. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, madam. There are still more questions in the chat box. In fact, they are popping up now. There are a number of them popping up. Okay, one said, I learned that anytime you know the reason why you love someone, then you never loved. How true is this? Let me repeat again because this one looks like a jam question. It says, I learned that anytime you know the reason why you love someone, then you never loved. How true is this? This
Thank you
question
very
number
much.
one.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's talking about a conditional love that is premised on something. It's premised on a condition. Now, let me take you back my slide. I'm not going to go through the slides, but from the first slide to the last, talking about the attributes of love, there was never a place that you saw that love, real love, has to do with a condition. Oh, the person must be beautiful before you love. The person must be wealthy before you love. These are conditions. Instead, we're talking about decisiveness, practicality, responsibility, love that lasts. Those are what we're talking about. So invariably, any love that is premised on a condition is not a good love. Reasons being that when that condition ceases to be, it will affect the love. Take, for example, A guy want to marry a lady. Fine, physical appearance is good. It's not as if it's bad. It's good. But let your love not be premised on that. If you want to marry a lady and your love is because it's conditioned on the fact that she has a figure 8, oh, she's nice, she's agbani, trimmed and all that, and then you marry because of that, what happens after marriage when the woman starts giving birth? When women start giving birth to children, whether we like it or not, they add some weight, they put on some weight, and if you are not careful, some may go shapeless, pardon my word, they may not have that figure 8 that they used to have then days. So if your love was premised on that figure 8 and the figure 8 is no more there, what happens at that point in time? So you see that love conditioned on something is not the best. It's not healthy. Your love must be unconditional. Unconditional. Some ladies today, you say that, oh, I want to marry a man that works in the oil company. I want to marry a man that is very wealthy. What happens tomorrow if the money is no more there? It will affect the love, because the love ab initio was conditioned on that thing. It was conditioned on that thing. So your love should not be conditioned on anything. Just as Christ loved us. The Lord loved us. It was not conditioned on anything, whether we are fit for it or not, whether we are qualified to be loved or not. God just so loved us that he gave his only son because it also died for us. That's the sacrificial love we are talking about. Love that is not premised on anything. It's not conditioned on anything. Whether you are good, I just love you. I love you because I love you. I love you for who you are. I love you for what you stand for. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, madam. And someone has just expressed his opinion here. He says, thank you for such insightful presentation. Personally, I believe that love is an everyday affair. People waiting for Valentine Day to show love is kind of artificial. Just my thinking. So what do you think about this, madam? What's your take?
Yeah, but if you look at one of my slides, I stated it here that I said daily thing. It's a daily thing. You cannot say you love and you love on a particular day like today. That's why I said earlier that most people today that went out, did everything, give them 2-3 weeks. You may not even see that commitment again. So you find out that the love is just momentary. So love is an everyday thing. Once you love, the right kind of love, my dear, you will practice it every day, through thin and thick. In good times, in bad times, you are disciplined, you have responsibility to love that person. So it's a daily thing. It's a daily thing that you do. It's not a one-off thing. So I very much agree with that person.
Okay, thank you very much. I have one hand up here that wasn't up before. Victor Ewomune, please. You have the floor, Vicky. Thank you. Thank you, by the way, for calling, for stopping by, Victor.
Yes, thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. And thank you, Madam Gift. I didn't join from the beginning, but the part that I encountered has been enriching. I'm chasing 50, so I'm in the top class. So, question, I don't know how much of a relation it has with what you've said so far and how much it may impact the younger ones here. But let me just ask this. 2 questions. The first one is, why is it seeming like more matured marriages are breaking down these days? Okay? So people that are married for 10 years, 15, 20, and then you hear that they are no longer together. It seems to be a growing concern in the world today, especially in our society. So why is that? The second one is it a thing for a man to be concerned and to be insecure if his wife is making more money than him? Does it bring torsion into the relationship? Can this cause disaffection between the parties? Does it give one an upper hand and such and such? So those are my 2 questions. If you can, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So let me start with the the first one. I'm trying to go to Colossians chapter 2. I think I'll use that portion of the Bible to answer that question. Colossians chapter 2. If I heard you well, you did say that a lot of marriages, mature marriages that have stayed 15, 20, 25 years, they break up. One reason I will say is that, like Colossians chapter 2 says, if you read from verse 1 down, but particularly verse 6 says, as you therefore have received Christ Jesus the Lord, so walk in him, rooted and built in him and established in the faith as you have been taught, abounding in it with thanksgiving. Then verse 8 says, beware lest anyone cheat you through philosophy and empty deceit, according to the tradition of men, according to the basic principles of the world, and not according to Christ. So let me stop there. You find out that these are Christians. They've been married for years, but along the line, they start drifting, because once you shift from your roots, which is Jesus Christ, you shift from your faith in what you've been taught in the Lord, and you begin to receive, to welcome the philosophies of men, to walk according to the traditions of men, whether we like it or not, it will bring problem into the home. And once it brings problem into the home, if care is not taken, the center can no longer hold. I say this emphatically because I've seen some situations where somebody that has been in marriage for years will now say, oh, in the office, my fellow men, my colleagues said XYZ concerning their wives, and I want to toe the same line. I want to do the same thing. And then I say, but you are a child of God. These things that these people are telling you, they are not scriptural. So as a Christian, you shouldn't even entertain, you shouldn't even listen to that, not to talk of, to practice it in your home. And the person said, no, that's what is the in thing. That's what is invoked. That's what is invoked. So by the time, children of God, no matter how many years you stayed in marriage, you start drifting from your godly foundation to do things that are invoked, to do things that are in accordance, are in tandem with the tradition of men and not according to Bible principles. You are digging the grave of that marriage. If care is not taken, the marriage will collapse. So is this drift that is causing problem in some homes? They are drifting from the way they started, from their first love. They are drifting to the principles of the world and not according to Christ. They are drifting to the tradition of men and not according to the tradition of the Bible. The Bible is our manual, is a marriage manual. So anything that is not in sync with what the Bible has said definitely is doomed to have problem. So that's one of the major things that cause problems in the home. And again, relationships too matter, because if the two people, you don't, as a Christian, it doesn't matter the number of years you've been. If you start to lose touch with your maker, you start to lose connection, you find that things that hitherto will not make you to drift, those things coming into you will make you to drift. And by the time you drift, before you know, there is a crack. And that crack, if not amended, it will continue to expand and expand and expand until it breaks the home, it breaks the family. So these are the things that can cause such, but we pray that the Lord will help us so that we'll keep standing on Christ, the solid rock, keep walking according to biblical principles and not according to the principles of the world. Then back to the second question. The woman having more money than the husband. It should be a blessing. In fact, I'm supposed to minister, to be in a panel of discussion on this same topic about the woman earning more than the man. Is it a blessing or a curse? Now, again, that's why we talk of individual perception. It depends on how we see marriage. Marriage, where a man and a woman come together, the two become one. Now, if the two become one, invariably whatever belongs to the man belongs to the woman, and vice versa. Whatever belongs to the woman belongs to the man. Now, if the two have that same understanding, if the two, when I say the two, the husband and the wife, if they have that same understanding, especially the woman now, since she's the one in question, the bone of condition, especially the woman, once she has that understanding that she and the husband are one, automatically she knows that Even if she's earning, her salary is 10 times the husband's own, that her salary also belongs to the man. It belongs to the family. And they are supposed to handle it as such. So it's supposed to be a blessing to the family and not a curse. So if it is causing problem in the family, then the woman has to look inwards. How is she handling that situation? Of course, I know that there are women that once they start earning more than their husbands, it gets into their head and they forget that the man is the head of the family. It gets into their head, it affects the way they relate to the man, it affects their communication with the man, and of course, no man will take it. No man will take that. That is when problem will ensue. But if the woman, despite what she earns, still takes her position as a wife, submissive to the husband, and then sees that money as family money, it will go a long way to help that relationship. And of course, the men too have their own part too to play. Yes, if the woman's money is more than the man's money, there's a way the man will behave. The woman will not be happy seeing that money as belonging to them. I give you a typical scenario that happened. This was a case I handled in my place of work. The woman was earning more than the man, of course. And then they were doing, I think, joint accounts. Now, the man will go, before the woman will know what is happening, the man will go and withdraw because it was either to sign. So the man alone could sign or the wife alone could sign. The man will go withdraw all the money and then use the money for his own people, his parents, his siblings, and all that. And then this woman started to suffer and suffer and suffer. At a point, she told me, say, Mom, I cannot continue with this joint account. So in that situation, when the man was behaving that way, the woman could no longer see the money as family money. She had to go to the bank to change whatever she needed to change so that she wouldn't do that joint account. So both parties are involved in this. The man must play his part well, but more is expected of the woman that is earning more. Despite the fact that she's earning more, she should still remember that the man is the head of the family and then accord the man the respect that he deserves, even though she earns more than the man, so that there will be peace in the family. And that money will not turn to be a curse to the family. Rather, it will remain a blessing to the family. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think we'll take the last question now, and that will be all for the evening. It says, what happens when values start growing apart in a marriage? How does one continue to love in such situation? That will be the last question for the night. Thank you, madam.
Okay, for every reaction, there must have been an action. So when values start going apart, the first thing you must find out is why. You must find out the why, because if you don't know the why, you cannot proffer solution. It's when you know the why that you can proffer solution, and the right solution for that matter, because you can be proffering a solution that may be a wrong solution to that problem. So if values are growing apart, the first question you should ask yourself, why are the values growing apart? What is the problem? If you are married, you sit down with your spouse. Okay, this is what it used to be. This is what it is now. Why the gap? Why the difference? Why the variation? And then by the time you know the reason, that will now propel you to proffer a solution to suit that problem, to solve that problem rather. So variation is very key. To know why the variation, why the gap, and then you take it up from there.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gift Roma. Please all do help me appreciate our speaker for the night. Thank you so much, madam. We are immensely grateful unto you. Thank you so much for taking out the time, your busy schedules, to be here. Thank you for volunteering to make a difference in the lives of others. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is mine.
Thank you. And so, on behalf of Abstract for Excellence Foundation, we want to say a big thank you to everyone who joined the call tonight. Thank you all for joining, and do have, I would say, a productive day, or because the day is still young for some people, or a productive night, depending on which side of the divide you belong. And I hope that with this, you have more love, more healthiness, I would say. We hope that marriages will become healed, and become a lot more better. So thank you all for coming, and I truly, truly appreciate from the bottom of my heart our speaker for tonight. Thank you, madam, for coming. We are extremely grateful unto you. Thank you all. Okay. Thank you for coming, and do enjoy the rest of your evening or the rest of your night. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Okay, bye. Thank you, Adeboye, for coming. Thank you,